Hello again. Follow up to the video I did about Zak Hardaker being dropped for the grand final today. Leeds have beaten Castleford 24-6. So did his omission have something to do with his side losing and Leeds winning, or uh, did it unsettle the team, put them off, or was it just literally down to the fact that Leeds have a lot more players experienced in cup finals and winning trophies than Castleford? Castleford had one player on the pitch who's been in a grand final before, be it Challenge Cup or Super League, and Leeds had a whole squad of them who've done it multiple times, winning and losing, but they've been there. In like Old Trafford, sold out with like 70,000 people shouting the Reds off. But I think Zak Hardaker's dug himself a bit of a hole. Will he be blamed by the fans? That's open for debate. Unfortunately, I was obviously out watching my local ice hockey team play. I don't have Sky because I refuse to be ripped off to watch sport, because I think there's a Sky's a bit of a rip off, and that's personally me. That's not having a dig at the programs themselves. It's Rupert Murdoch. I'm not a big fan of him either, and he's trying to basically buy the British media. So I have my own views on Sky and B Sky B and News International, and I don't buy any of his newspapers or magazines, or I try and avoid watching Sky if I can, and BT Sport for that matter. But that's another thing. So I haven't actually seen the game. I do know it was 24-6 to Leeds, so it looks a bit one-sided. It probably wasn't as one-sided as the scoreline suggests, but that's for the that's for another day. It's another discussion. But Leeds have won. Castleford have lost. I just saw it come up on the news wire a couple of hours ago when I got in from the ice hockey, but I thought I'd post my ice hockey video first, get that done, because there was more to discuss. But I mentioned yesterday that Zak Hardaker had been dropped for breaching club rules. So, and I mentioned there could be ramifications if his team go on a win, not a problem. He's been a bit of a naughty boy. Obviously, Castleford have lost today, so it's all going to bite me in the arse. Where would they have won with him on the pitch? We don't know. Simple as that. I personally think he's a bit overrated. He's not. He is good. He's a good player, but there are better fullbacks and centres and needs big wingers as well in the British Rugby League at the moment, who do with the similar position, similar role that he does. So whether his inclusion or suspension had anything to do with the result is open to debate. But is this going to turn more fans against him? He's got a checkered history. He's been done for homophobia on the pitch before. If you do that in the street, he gets nicked. So it is what it is. Congratulations to Leeds on winning again. They probably deserve it. They've worked hard. They're not as dominant as they were in the league before. They've dropped down a little bit. Castleford are on the way up, which is good. It's good to see them in the grand final. It is good to see them up there. But does the whole Zak Hardaker incident overshadow the result? Because it's not what you need in the build up to a key match. If it was in the normal Super League like fixture list and he was just suspended because he broke club rules, I don't think it'd be such a big issue. I really don't. I think the press would be local press and the rugby league press would look at the story for a couple of days. It was suspended for a couple of games. They go by. He gets back in. The hoo-ha's over. There'll be a bit of what did he do? Then the club will release a statement, and he might release a statement. If he does, what gets me is the club have not been fully clear on what club rules he's breached. It just states that he has breached club rules. On the BBC News website, it's very vague in what rules he is said to have broken. So a bit of clarity would be nice. But again, I've not watched as much rugby league this season as in previous years. I've watched a few Challenge Cup games. I watched a bit of the final. I didn't watch all the final. I watched the first half of the final, so I haven't watched as much this year as in previous years. It's a bit bad on my part. I normally am more consistent with supporting. I did watch a fair bit of the NRL season this year. Managed to watch a few few matches there. But again, towards the second half of the season, again, didn't have the time, can't watch it easily on the internet. You gotta dig around a bit, get the match replays and the live streams and stuff. It'd be nice if the NRL and the Super League did live streams on YouTube, because they can still get the ad revenue. That's something that BT Sport have done. They live stream a lot of their events, but it might be nice, something to consider. But that's another day. That's another argument. I'm not going into the rights and wrongs of pay for view sport, things like that. I'm not just a big fan. I think Sky should be free to air. They get enough money from the ad revenue. They're rich enough. They might attract more viewers if they were just to go, right, bang, a freebie box now is basically like a Sky box. It's all free to air, and then you can choose to watch BT Sports, Sky Sports, Premier Sports without having to pay through the nose to watch your teams play if you can't afford to get the ground, because ticket prices for sporting events are going through the roof. I'm lucky that my local ice hockey team, their ticket prices are actually pretty reasonable. They get people through the door. They're pretty reasonable going. A fair bit cheaper than the local rugby and football. I had mates go to London Irish. Going to London Irish game tomorrow. So ticket prices are far more reasonable than rugby and football. So there's nothing to debate whether the TV revenue that the rugby and football get warrant having ticket prices at 40, 50, 60, 70 quid when they're getting so much money from the TV revenue from BT and Sky. That's another debate. But the Zak Hardaker thing, he has been dropped. He's breached club rules. So when Castleford release a full statement clarifying what he actually did, and when the player actually gives the press conference, it's now post-season now. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But Leeds won, Castleford's lost, and I think the fan reaction, how Castleford and Zak Hardaker deal with the aftermath of this, is whether the fans turn against him. And his position, is it tenable at the club? Will he stay? Will he go? Anyway, thanks for watching, and I shall speak again soon.